Have you ever made a promise to yourself and then broken it? Not because you were lazy, not because you didn't care, but because life got busy. You got tired, you got distracted, and eventually you stopped believing in your own promises. I think a lot of people live there. I know I did. For years I had ideas, I had projects, I had goals, I had things I was gonna do, someday. Get back in shape, write another book, build the business, create content, become the person I knew I could be. But this was all gonna happen someday. But someday is a dangerous place because that's where a lot of dreams go to die. 30 days ago, I decided to test something. Not my camera, not the YouTube algorithm, not my editing skills. I wanted to test whether I could trust myself. So I made one simple promise: post a video every day for 365 days. That's it, simple. Not easy, just simple. And after 30 days, I've learned something surprising. The challenge isn't about YouTube. The videos are just keeping score. The real challenge is becoming the kind of man who keeps his word, because every day you'll find a reason not to do it. I've got work, you get tired, you've got distractions, I've got self-doubt. Sometimes I'm in a bad mood. You've seen videos where I didn't even want to shoot my arrows in the morning. You got that little voice that says, just skip today. It doesn't really matter. Besides, nobody cares anyways. You start getting that little nagging voice. You can start again tomorrow. We'll have a fresh start. We've got the data from these previous starts. Now we'll do even better. That makes sense for you to just quit taking action right now. So I know you've heard that voice too, because everybody has. And that's the first lesson that I've learned in these 30 days. Motivation is overrated. Some days I felt motivated, some days I didn't. The videos got made anyways, because if your success depends on motivation, you are in trouble. Motivation comes and goes. Standards stay. So then that brings us on to lesson number 2. Action creates clarity. For years I spent more time thinking than doing. I was planning, I was researching, I was organizing, I was trying to get everything perfect. If you've watched some of the previous videos, you talked about the phrase I'd coined. I don't know if I coined it. It's kind of arrogant, I suppose. Procrastinatory organization. I would have discussions with my sister Angela when she was going through university. She was working hard and I was working hard with what I was doing, and I would talk about just organizing my papers and my to-do lists, and then I'd end up like, well, I've got to consolidate these to-do lists, but really I'm working on my craft, aren't I? No, not really. But the 30 days of action taught me more than just the thinking, the organizing and everything. You don't think or organize your way into confidence. You act your way into confidence. And I'm not talking about the, fake it till you make it type situation, although I suppose there's benefit to that. I mean, it's far better to stand tall. In fact, there is evidence that shows if you're depressed, if you stand in that Superman pose, you stand up, shoulders back, tall, just look and smile for what, 60 seconds, 3 minutes? Your brain starts thinking, holy smokes, this guy's confident, he's happy. I better start thinking that way. There's something to that. And then also, when it comes to action, I remember something that was almost transformational for me. It was a presentation by Tony Robbins, and he talked about this cycle, this loop. Your belief, you have a belief that you can succeed. So that belief, when it gets big enough, you start taking action towards towards your goals. Then that action produces evidence or results. And when you see those results, you gain more belief. And then that more belief brings more action. More action, more evidence or results. More evidence or results to more belief. And it becomes a self-fulfilling, a feeding wheel. And also, though, the warning, the caveat is it can work in the opposite direction. If you don't believe you can do something, why the fuck are you going to take the proper action to do it? Why are you going to put in the effort? So then you won't get the evidence. You won't get it'll become a self-fulfilling prophecy in the wrong direction. So if that's where you find yourself, you got to turn that around. Let's go on to lesson 3. Your first version is supposed to suck. I had a coach one time tell me, Al, like, you signed up for this book writing course, you haven't produced anything. It's like, oh, well, I've got a lot of drafts, I've got a lot of notes. Al, just get it out there. Version 1 is better than version none. You learn from it. It's the reps we take. You look at my videos, oh my gosh, some videos were better than others. Some made me cringe, some got views, some didn't. But every single one of them taught me something. The people who improve aren't the people who wait until they're ready. They're the people willing to look foolish long enough to get better, and believe me, here we are. Lesson 4, most fears are fiction. I worried about criticism. I worried about judgment. I worried what people would think. Most of it never happened. You know, I wish I had a pull that up Jamie type situation here where I could get the Mark Twain quote about most of his fears never really being realized. Most of it never happened. The biggest obstacle wasn't other people. It was the conversation happening in my own head. I heard it referred to as stinking thinking so many times. A vulture overhead, I'm not kidding. Maybe I should edit that out. The conversation's happening in my own head. That's the thing, the stinking thinking. So identity, this is lesson number 5. Identity follows repetition. This one surprised me. I don't really feel like a guy trying to post videos anymore. I feel like a guy who just does post videos. That may sound small, but it's really huge. For me, it's huge because identity isn't built by affirmations. It's built by evidence. Every action casts a vote for the person that you're becoming. I'm going to say that again because it's so important. We talk about make a promise, keep a promise. That little promise that you keep, that's an action. And every time you do that little thing, it casts a vote for the person that you want to become. So that's why it's so important not to have one miss turn into 2. That's why it's so important to take those small actions so that they can become bigger ones. This builds our belief system in ourselves. Our belief system in ourselves will cause us to take more of those actions. More of those actions will produce more evidence into the idea that we can achieve these things. And then that evidence will fuel even further belief. It'll be a self-fulfilling prophecy in the right direction. Might be the biggest lesson of all. Every time I posted a video when I didn't feel like it, I kept a promise. And every promise became evidence. Evidence I can rely on myself. Evidence that I can finish things. Evidence that I can do difficult things. That's how self-trust is built. All right? Not in one heroic moment, but in hundreds of ordinary decisions, the little things becoming bigger things, becoming bigger things. Brings us to lesson 7. Small things become big things. From the outside, this doesn't look like much. It's just 30 videos right now on this channel. But that's how everything meaningful starts, isn't it? One workout, one walk, one page if you're looking to write a book, one decision, one promise, repeated long enough to become a part of who you are. It becomes a part of you. And that's the real lesson. The goal was never YouTube. The goal was never views or subscribers. The goal was to become someone I trust again. And maybe that's where you are too. Maybe your challenge isn't posting video. I mean, I highly doubt it is, but maybe it's losing weight. Maybe it's quitting drinking. Maybe it's rebuilding your marriage or getting over one that failed. Maybe it's starting a business. Maybe it's simply getting out of bed and keeping one promise tomorrow morning that you made today. Whatever it is, the challenge doesn't matter, the identity does. I'll say that again. Whatever challenge you have, it's not that matters as much as you fulfilling that promise and then building on your identity as someone who lives up to their word. So today is day 30. There's still 335 days to go. I don't know exactly where this journey ends. I don't know how many subscribers there will be. I don't know what this channel will become, but I do know this. The man sitting here on day 30 is a little different than the man who started on day 1. Not because of YouTube, but because of the promises kept. And if 30 days can do that, imagine what 365 days can do. If you're rebuilding your life, rebuilding your habits, rebuilding your health, your confidence, or rebuilding your identity, subscribe and follow along. Stay with me. We are rebuilding.